Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Supergirl. This time we're on season 4, episode 19, titled American Dreamer. And in the last one, in Crime and Punishment, which I watched in my own time early today, we saw that the public opinion of Supergirl has grown very negative. It's not good. It's not a good look. I think she was trying to save someone from a car wreck, and then 3 other civilians came out with, well, one of them with a gun, and threatened to kill her, and stuff like that, and then one bullet deflected and the car blew up, and then she saved the guy anyway, and she went into prison, and they were like celebrating her downfall, being like, oh, now you're just like one of us, and now you're a criminal too, and all that stuff. So yeah, like, to put it simply, public opinion of Supergirl is very, very negative, and they don't really think highly of her anymore. A lot of them think that she's a traitor. I think the ones who supported her in the past are now just conflicted because they don't know who or what she is anymore. But then the Children of Liberty and all of that stuff, and all of those kinds of people, just they're just like, oh, we told you all along, we were right all along. She's just like another American traitor. She's just a monster. She deserves to be killed and or sent away to wherever. But we saw that an example of that was Ben Lockwood wanting to use the DEO resources and their only way to summon her to try and ambush her and take her in as a prisoner and as a criminal. But Colonel Haley's colors really changed in this episode, because so far Haley's when she was first introduced, we thought she was just like she was really passing off like an Umbridge vibe, like control and order and a little bit of bigotry mixed in there, what with her view of aliens and John Jones having control of the DEO. And then fast forward a little bit down the line, she's kind of conflicted as well, because she doesn't really know how this government's working, if it's keeping stuff from her and from Alex as well, if her being director, they're having information kept from them, and they're not really in the loop and everything. But then in the last episode, the president also issued a martial order or something, to have all aliens in public just rounded up, and any alien seen in public to be rounded up and to be taken prisoner and all that stuff. So it's pretty scary stuff. It's pretty scary stuff, and I think, again, what this season especially is doing, I feel, is actually showing off how this kind of stuff, like alien immigration, is actually, it's reflective of what's happening in the world today. And specifically, I don't want to throw any shade or pull any strings here, but specifically what's going on with immigration stuff in America. So I think, I'm thinking that the rounding up the aliens in America is to do with ICE rounding up immigrants over in America as well. But yeah, I think Ben Lockwood wanted Colonel Haley herself to actually summon Supergirl using the little watch thing that she had. And at first, Alex tried to trick her, being like, "Yeah, oh yeah, sure, I'll show you how to work it. Just do one tap." She just tapped twice to make Supergirl come. But Brainy knew that 2 taps was actually to tell her, to warn Supergirl, it's a trap, don't come, it's just stay away from here as far as possible. But before Ben Lockwood came for the final ambush, Colonel Haley did actually reveal to her, oh, believe me, I know all of your tricks, I know 2 taps is to warn Supergirl to stay away and all of that stuff. And then Alex had a little bit of a chat with Kelly, and then she revealed to try and instead of being angry and throwing a tantrum, try and appeal to her, see if she can actually empathize with the situation and be more human about this. And then Alex tried pulling out the daughter card, because she knows that her daughter is imagine putting her daughter in the situation, which then pulled a very sensitive string with Haley. But in the end, she did end up actually tapping the watch twice and keeping Supergirl away from here, because her daughter is scared as hell of everything that's going on. Her favorite teacher at school, who was an alien, went into hiding presumably, but he's disappeared, and aliens everywhere are being rounded up and court-martialed and everything. So it's a scary time for the people in National City. So yeah, that happened. What else? Brainy deleted the alien registry. He knew that after Supergirl was taken in by the US government, then that meant that Lockwood would be back with the Children of Liberty to take in the alien registry and round up even more aliens. So he opted to he ended up at a 50-50 chance that if he did do it, this could happen. If he didn't do it, this could happen. and he didn't know what to do or what to go with, so he went to Nia for some advice, and she fake dreamed that he shouldn't do it, but then he realized, wait, but he should. This would save lives. So then Nia led him to the realization that yes, it would save lives, and that's why you should do it. So he opted to do it and also to not do it, in the sense that he deleted it, but he also made a copy of it in his lovely little 12th level intellect brain of his. So he knows who all of the aliens in National City are, presumably, but he also won't be willing to give out that information anytime soon. But from the official DEO records, that information is gone, so those aliens are kind of temporarily safe. Unless they actually catch Brainy out on it and actually decide to interrogate his mind a little bit, which I hope they don't. But it's the Children of Liberty, so you never know. But that happened. James's Harrenel was acting up a little bit because he went to see a therapist after finally confiding some help in Kelly. And she took him to a PTSD specialist who taught him some kind of coping mechanisms, like some breathing techniques and chest taps to actually cope with whenever his triggers get set off. But this time when he was in his office when the triggers got set off, he could and couldn't control it. He could control the panic attacks, but then the Harrenel kicked in, and I guess the simplest way to put that is to say that superpowers or super abilities came into place, that he got like zoom in vision, and he crushed one of his monitor stands, and he could hear sounds from thousands of feet away and all of that stuff. So enhanced abilities and enhanced senses came into play. So he called in Kelly for that, and he figures that, this isn't just about the PTSD anymore. Whatever Lena used to cure him is what's acting up now, so he needs help with that this time. So there's something a lot more physically manifesting than like mentally or anything else. So I don't know if this means that we're going to get a superpowered Guardian. I mean, because we haven't even seen Guardian suited up for a long time, and after all that stuff with the DA, I didn't think it was ever going to happen. But I mean, no, they said they wouldn't press charges this time, but if he did suit up again, then they would have no choice but to arrest him and charge him on sight. So if he does do it again, then he's going to be in trouble. But him with superpowers, I don't really know if it's like, if that's just a reason to keep Guardian around, or just to see what a superpowered Guardian would be like. But I don't know, but he could have superpowers this time, but now they just need to know how to keep it stable, and not kill him off like Adam, who Lex reminded Lena of, because Kara and Lex went to prison to investigate more of Lex's work in National City, and then Kara spoke to one of the other kind of informational activists / journalists who was living / sleeping next to Lex, in an opposite cell, of course. And all that stuff went down. Otis made a return. Boom, boom, bang, bang. Prison riot, all of that stuff. And then we had Kara realizing that she has to take a hiatus from the Cape. She has to stop being Supergirl for a while in order to let things like lie low, because any time she pops up in public as Supergirl, either the kids of Liberty will be around and they'll try and take her down, or civilians will get scared and try and shoot her, thinking that she's there to hurt them. But it still shocks me that no one thinks this is out of character. Like the president phrased it as in the news report, in the sense that, out of anger because of the Alien Amnesty Act being repealed, Supergirl attacked the White House. Like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. She's not an angry person. She knows she's strong enough to kill people, and that's one of the many reasons why she actually actively holds her strength back by simply flicking you to sleep with her pinky finger. So her attacking you out of anger is something incredibly out of character for her. So your argument makes no sense whatsoever. But she is going to take a hiatus from the Cape nonetheless, and do more heroic stuff as Kara Danvers herself, as a reporter for Catco. And the guy, the Stephen something, he did give her like a USB stick full of information on whatever Lex was working on during his time in prison. So we've got a lot to look forward to. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have from the last one. So episode 19, American Dreamer. Let's go.
Supergirl?
Howdy, boys.
Oh, Dreamer. Dreamer's back in action. Oh, are those telephone cables?
Sweet dreams.
They look like little springy telephone cables. Yeah, you might need to get away. Yeah. Oh, Dreamer's back in action. That's awesome. Sleeping Beauty.
If you'll excuse me.
Seriously? You were a hologram the whole time?
He's not even here?
Spat later.
Oh, wow, he wasn't even there. He's at the fortress. No, not even at the fortress. He's at Lena's lab.
Have you ever heard of a mind palace?
A mind palace. Yeah, it's like a place you go where that actually helps you think straight. Got it from Sherlock. Oh, Jesus.
Don't make a scene. Your children, they just lost.
Is it like the one you're making?
I would hate to see them lose their mother too.
Oh, Jesus.
For anything but the roaches that they are.
You're a monster.
Marcus, you come over here for a second.
Down to your
Excellent
cold,
work.
dead heart.
So would you,
You're a monster. Oh, he's entering his own mind palace, so he can walk through his own mind. And he's at the Daily Planet.
The memories are folding in on one another.
Oh, crap. Oh, this must have been when he was younger.
Who are you?
But... Whoa!
What is going on in there?
Laser eyes? The dude has laser eyes now? They're gonna come in here though? They're gonna come in here. Oh, nice.
But you don't know what it's like to walk around with a target on your back just because of what you are.
Believe me, she does.
On the record.
Heart volume expanding to 30%.
Whoa, Jesus. So that didn't work. Wait, how are no extractions? They're just trying to take it out of the heart? I was trying to remove it from James, that then makes sense. But removing it is very costly, as it seems.
I got locked in the bathroom and nobody could hear me. By the time the manager opened up the door, his funeral
was over.
His funeral was over.
Oh. So he wished he was there.
The truth.
He wished he was there.
Where was he?
I don't know where he really was.
Oh, so the Dinah story was a fake. Okay.
But it is not a date.
What is the end game? Thanos is the end game. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Supercore is the end game. That's the real end game. Lena is the end game. There you go. Confirmation.
She seems nice.
Let's hope she doesn't stab me in the back.
Yeah, I'm
Or
so
shoot you in the
sorry
back.
about what he did to
Too
you.
soon. Sorry. Too soon.
Thanks.
Too soon.
Supergirl's been there for me. Person who judges me on the very premise of my last name, but my best friend hasn't.
Sorry, I was...
Take those glasses off, Kara. Tell her the truth. Oh, this is an alien shelter. It's a shelter.
You're gonna have to go through this reverie first.
Out of your way.
Oh, Dreamer's kicking it up. Come on, kick their asses. Come on.
Why didn't you tell me? Why do you think?
You cannot be that daft, dude. Whoa! Oh, a dream shockwave. Can I just take the time to say right now, I love Dreamer to bits. Just to absolute bits. Just love her and Dreamer all day, every day.
Safe. We're aliens. Nowhere's safe.
That's a fair point. But hey, she kicked ass today and she saved them today. So,
So Supergirl's coming back?
The world doesn't need to hear from Supergirl right now.
Dreamer.
I need a hero. I want to introduce the world to Dreamer.
I know this is
Top notch idea.
but I'll be with you.
Top friggin' notch. Oh, they locked him in a coffin. A casket even. They locked him in.
I've told that Dinah story so many times, I believe it.
Just in case you need another reason to hate the shit out of bullies. Here you go.
Fight back.
Push through it. Fight back. Blast open those doors. Or even take them on yourself now, a grown man. Actually, that's probably the better choice. Yeah, just push them away. Don't beat the crap out of them, just push them away. You want to be a hero? The first person you gotta save is yourself. The most important person you gotta save is yourself. Oh, Jesus. Levitation.
I was born here in America. I grew up in
Shut this
an
up.
idyllic town.
No.
Hack the system.
Humans and aliens
Good.
live together in harmony.
Watch
My mother
it,
was Notorian,
Lockwood.
But I am also a trans woman. I'm different, Ms. Danvers, but so is everybody. And I don't know when that became such a bad thing. S'mores are my favorite dessert. But I will always choose salty over sweet. I broke my nose when I was 15.
I'm so proud of her.
Kickball.
I'm so proud.
My mother was my heart. I'm a Gryffindor.
Go Gryffindor.
This is a Dapple Gray Stallion. I'm an INFP. House Stark.
I'm stuck. Hey.
Birthdays. And April.
What does love feel like?
Are you
Afraid of how the world will react to you now that they know you're an
Oh
alien?
God.
Of course.
Oh God. I am so damn proud of her. That.
Oh, my.
No more little boxes. No more little boxes.
I want this dreamer detained now. Let's go.
You touch her, I will rip you to shreds, regardless of the consequences. Oh, look at it to get her. Okay, good. Oh no. Oh, good God, no. No.
Are under arrest for
No.
using an illegal seditious broadcast
To incite violence.
You're the only one inside.
To incite Jesus, you need to get a better dictionary. Get them all out of oh, jeez, okay. Good thing there's a balcony. Yeah, get them all out of there, Kara. Yeah, time to kick ass, Dreamer. Use those telephone cables.
Fear sucks. So let's kick fear's ass.
Power friggin' couple. Power couple.
You're coming with me.
Oh crap, James is back. Oh, nice.
Get out of Catco. Now.
And never come back.
And I will find this dreamer.
And she'll make you go nighty night night, bitch. You can count on it. Oh God. Dreamer is making waves
I saw
now.
the Dreamer broadcast
That much you
last
can be
night.
sure of.
I was working with him too.
Out of
contacted me
necessity,
4 months
not
ago.
desire.
And I was weak, and I will never forgive myself for that.
No, Lena, no. This is self-criticism is not the answer here.
I can only imagine.
I don't like seeing Lena cry. God damn it, Lex. Even when you're not here, you cause pain. Sorry, maybe a friendship. Oh, he's having a change of mind. Okay.
So, Sebastian Melnoth withdrew $5.8 billion from
Better
Upward
sooner
on
than
October
never.
10th.
Or better
The
later than
same
never.
day,
So what? Kaznia. Oh.
Guess we're going to Kaznia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's where the military base is where they're keeping their daughter. Oh crap. Wait, what happened? Oh no, did they? Oh, they killed her. Oh, they killed her. Oh, come on, that is not the best course of action here.
You have done well, my son. Go home now. Join your family.
He completed his mission. The symbols are back where they belong. And that is the end of the episode. American Dreamer, damn. Very, very heavy and hefty episode. A lot of stuff happening. First off, I'm so proud. I am so proud. I'm so proud right now of who else to be proud of but Dreamer. Who else to be proud of? God damn. When she first joined the show as Nia Noel, I knew nothing of Nicole Maines before her debut for her debut in my perspective as Nia Noel, and then looking her up, I figured she's gone through all this stuff in her life, and she's now she's she is offering representation in like big pop culture media, so now so now to see Dreamer not only just being a hero in general, but also during that interview actually coming out as a trans woman, that is a very, very big and impactful kind of thing, because it's looking back at it now, it's obviously when Nia herself first comes out as a trans woman to James, it's all the kids watching the show, especially all the trans kids watching the show, you think about that, you think oh wow, finally trans kids have someone that they can look up to, they have someone they can watch on TV and actually relate to and understand how they feel and get a better sense of who they are, and actually see someone on TV that they can they feel like they're looking at themselves in a manner of speaking. But now Nia herself comes out as trans to National City and to, I think it was a global broadcast anyway, so pretty much the world. And then even in Supergirl, all the trans kids watching at home, human or alien. Well, with Dreamer it's possible, so I guess you can get alien trans kids, but then again, with aliens themselves, everything works differently, so I don't know how it would translate well, but even just in general, trans kids in the fiction of the show would likely be watching that broadcast, and listening to, Nia say that I'm a trans woman, and just having their world, their world which could have formerly been crumbling apart, actually being put back together, there's someone out there like them, and I think that's when it comes to representation, that's the important thing, actually having a character big enough actually say the right words out loud, and actually having it having someone else listen to it that someone else that it actually matters to listen to it, and seeing the effect it has on them. So just all you have to do is think about it, and it is a likelihood there are likely trans kids in National City who watched that broadcast and saw before they just thought Supergirl's gone dark, so Dreamer has stepped up to the mantle, so she's pretty cool, she's badass, she's helping people, but now she's trans, oh my god, she's exactly like me, and all of that stuff. So I am super, super proud of Nia for having had the courage to come do that, because, being an alien herself, even half alien, she's in just as much danger as any other alien, or even a human, like an alien ally, that now coming out as trans. We haven't run into much of that kind of bigotry. I think we've heard references to kind of racial bigotry that James faced in his past, and I think Maggie's father back in season 2, he was homophobic. So it's been sprinkled in there a little bit. It's been sprinkled in there along the way to add not constantly pulled at and constantly just thrown in your face or anything. But it's been in there enough for you to know that it still happens regardless of what kind of setting this is, and it's still very much real. But I'm glad personally, because Nia did face transphobia at the hands of her sister, at the hands of Maeve back in, I think, back in episode 11 or something, or I think it was after her mother's funeral. Maeve said some transphobic stuff towards Nia, so we've had it sprinkled in there, and it's enough for you to know it's real and it happens, but not enough to totally put you off being it's all that ever happens, but it still does happen. So I am hoping that Nia herself does not run into any more like transphobia even as Dreamer, like as Dreamer herself has come out as a trans woman. I'm hoping that doesn't happen and she can just continue to kick ass with telephone cables and her shockwaves and her dream blasts and all that cool stuff. But I am super duper proud of Nia and Dreamer and Nicole. And I cannot wait to see more of them kicking ass. I can't wait to see more of Dreamer suiting up and being who she is. And again, she just gave like a really inspiring speech as well, which is one of the things I love about this show especially. I think it's like, you know, like Arrow is obviously far more grittier, and that takes form of hope in the sense of you actually physically fighting back against what's pushing you down. And the Flash, I mean, I don't really know how to describe the one in the Flash. That's more like, you know, like again, it's more like strength in times of weakness and all of that stuff. But with Supergirl, I think it definitely, I mean, with the Flash, it can be similar because you got metahumans, and humans are still scared of metahumans. So in that sense, there is still that kind of segregational tension. But with this one, I think it's definitely a lot more impactful and a lot more grounded, because of the fact that they are dealing with you know, the fact that these are like an entirely different species and other races of living beings who are being pushed aside simply because of who they are. And you know, this gave the writers the opportunity to be like, you know what, just because they're different, they're not bad. And here's a perfect example of that. And I think, you know, like with Dreamer, it was a smart move because again, she is half human, half alien, so she definitely has that kind of appeal to her that people can actually take the time to listen to, because it's like the chance of an actual pure alien doing that same broadcast, not many people would be able to listen to it probably, or not many people would even bother to listen to it. But you know, as long as someone still has that kind of like actual humanity to them, or like that human side to them, there's more of a chance that people will listen, besides from Lockwood obviously telling them to shut it down. But yeah, she's a badass and she's just awesome. She's awesome. Just awesome. Definitely one of my favorite characters on this show so far, and throughout the DC CW universe, definitely one of my favorite heroes. But yeah, that was Dreamer, and also just like the fact that she along with Brainy, she took up initiative to actually step up to the big hero mantle when Supergirl went dark, not dark side, but went dark. And she actually just went around protecting people and stopping muggers and whatnot, and actually, you know, like fighting back against the Children of Liberty. Hydration break. The fact that she took it upon herself to actually protect people in a time where no one else could, or no one else was able to, that's extremely brave of her. And yeah, I mean, as a hero, like what this show does well is showing people who, as heroes, just put their lives at risk in times of, you know, like high chances of death or injury or any of that stuff. So I feel like them using Dreamer to put that kind of ideology in the spotlight was a really cool was a really cool thing to see in the episode. So yeah, but yeah, loving Dreamer, loving this episode, loving her impact on this episode as well, and looking forward to seeing more of her going forward. But yeah, so that was Dreamer. Yeah, Children of Liberty rounding up the aliens dragged out of their homes. That definitely screams like ICE stuff in America to me, like immigrants being dragged out of their homes and just locked up and detained and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, in this one, I think I have seen videos of Twitter on kids making plea videos after having lost their parents to ICE and just being either detained with them, or like having lost their homes and lost their parents and not having anywhere else to go. So this definitely is a very real thing that's being reflected upon real world situations, and a very real and scary thing happening in the world. But I also think it might be more obvious to most, but you know, I think what's cool about that is the fact that they show there's no obvious or easy solution to this. This kind of hatred is born from hatred and like a fear of what's different, and also people who have come to accept that fear of what's different, kind of, you know, just kind of trying to bash that in as the norm. Like, oh, if you don't fit into this category, you're automatically bad, so we need to believe that and spread that kind of word out to people, get people onto the same one-track wavelength and all that stuff. So, what they're showing is there's no obvious or, like, definitive kind of solution to this. Like, the answer is just to be brave in times where fear actually runs rampant in the streets, and, when the forces of fear are stronger, like Dreamer and Supergirl, they have to fight back even harder and actually, like, obviously not kill anyone, but they have to fight back and show that they are stronger than their oppressors. So I think this episode as well, like, especially like with the children of liberty deputized as well, it gives them far more power to actually do this according to their own free will. Which again is just scary, just knowing that they have that kind of power to drag innocent people out of their homes and do what they please with them, or because they think that they're dangerous based on the acts of what a few have committed, and also based on the belief that they're bad simply because they're not human or because they're different in some way. And especially the friends that George had, like, he saw, like, in the bar, and, like, he was like, why did you never tell me you were an alien? Why did you never tell me anything about this? And he's like, take a wild guess, dude. I'm an alien. Think about who your dad is. Think about what you're doing. Like, why the hell would I feel comfortable telling you any of this? Like, for all I know, you could try and kidnap me and my family in my sleep. But George, in the end, he did not put that mask on and get back to work. He picked that mask up and threw it, bashed it against the wall, and then texted his friend that he would be happy to help him, and he's there if he needs any help. And he even had a little bit of a chat with his mother, being like, like, do you really think what we're doing is right here? Like, this is actually a good thing we're doing. Obviously, his mother, having sided so strongly with his father, she said yes, and whatever. But George himself is having a change of heart. He's having a change of mind as well. So George, I feel, is headed down a lighter path. I think he's just gonna, like, I think what's either gonna happen is the next time he goes out on a patrol with them, he's gonna try and, he's gonna volunteer to go in and I feel like he might try and secretly rescue, like, he either might secretly rescue more aliens on future patrol trips, or he might just straight up back out of this from his father. He's like, what, I can't stop you from doing this, but I'm gonna have no part in it. I refuse to do this anymore. These are innocent people. They may not be human, but they're still living, breathing, sentient beings who have done nothing wrong. I'm not being a part of it. Charlie, he was my friend. I'm not going to hurt him or his family, so I'm out. You do what you want, I'm out. I think those might be either of the two routes that they go down with George. But it's good to see, and especially him being as young as he is, he's still, I think, I can't tell exactly how old he is. I think he's still, like, like a mid-teenager. Like, he can't be older than 16, 15, 16, maybe 17 at a push, but he's still at the age where he's still learning how the world works as a young adult, I feel. So he's still looking around him. He sees, he's essentially been brainwashed by his father to believe whatever. But as he looks around, he's still at the age where he can learn a lot simply just by looking around him and opening his eyes up to the world. And that's exactly what he's done. He saw his friend, and that was enough of a kick in the in the kneecaps for him to be like, like, wow, this is just wrong. Like, we're hurting innocent people here. And again, he's at the age where, he is told to listen to his elders, and he does listen to his elders and the people around him. He does listen to what they have to say, but he also takes a look for himself, and he's like, at every corner he's seeing stuff that doesn't really seem right. But his father, him having a father like Ben, he knows his father knows what's best for him. He has to look up to him, so he's definitely at a point of conflict. But now, by the end of it, he's beyond that conflict. He's past that conflict. He knows what he himself has to do, and he knows what he feels is right. So I'm glad they took him down that arc. I was worried that he would end up kind of being encouraged to carry on the family legacy or whatever, but but he looks like he may be joining separate ranks or even going his own path in some way. But Ben Lockwood himself, he is not doing so good. So I mean, he's on the verge of losing his family because his son may well back out of any and all Children of Liberty business now. But his wife was also killed. And that is a no-no. That is a no-no for me. That, like, as soon as that alien woman left the house and jumped out the window, I knew something bad had to have happened. I knew it because she had a very devious look in her eyes, and then I saw those little, like, thorns, like, protruding from her arms as she jumped out, so I figured, oh crap, she must have done some slicing and dicing with her arms or something, and then it's revealed that she actually killed his wife. That is a very, very bad move, and it's obviously one done out of revenge and anger, but it's a very bad move because it gives them more incentive to want to incarcerate them, being like, oh, you see this is what they do. You try and do anything to them, they fight back, so we need to push them down even harder, or this is just more reason to try and discriminate against them, in all ways. There's more reason to actually lock them away. So that is a very, very bad idea, and it's gonna, like, in my eyes, it's gonna backfire horribly in future episodes. So I have no idea what to think about that. I mean, I feel like he lost his wife, so that's gonna be a pretty tragic loss for him to face. And oh my god, even George. I mean, he's gonna find he lost his mother to an alien. Oh god, I didn't even think about that. Like, George lost his mother to an alien, so soon after he actually considers helping his friend and even sending off a nice encouraging text message, he then finds out that an alien killed his mother. And without a doubt in the world, what's his face? Ben is gonna try and twist this into something as evil and horrible as possible. He's gonna try and exaggerate this beyond words, especially to George, and be like, oh, this alien murdered your mother in cold blood, even after we did nothing wrong to it. He's probably going to try and hide the identity of the alien, and be like, what, this alien broke into our house and destroyed everything and killed our mother and killed your mother in cold blood. And then George is probably going to be like, what, screw it, these aliens are bad, let's get rid of them. Like, I feel like that's going to be the path they go down. But yeah, I think I've never understood those moves. I mean, I know it's because they're angry and they're upset and everything, and like, even Ben threatened her, saying like, oh, and if you know what's good for you, just don't make a scene, otherwise, I'd hate for your kids to have to lose their mother as well. So he kind of made a compromise, like, oh, I'll take the husband and I'll leave you guys to, let it sit around in your own sorrow that I've caused. So, Ben, I think, even in that, I mean, he always has been, but I think especially in that scene, Ben was abusing his power, the power that he had to actually do this kind of thing. And was just kind of reveling in the sorrow and the upset of people losing their friends and family because of this martial law. So, I mean, I'm not going to say he had it coming, because, I mean, he didn't have it coming, because his wife herself, like, she didn't deserve to die. I'll say that much. She did not deserve to die the way that she did. She did not deserve to be killed. But I mean, it's understandable where the alien is coming from. Like, she did it out of anger and as an act of revenge. And like especially with this kind of detainment stuff. These, like, I think I'm fairly certain it's like it works the same way as how ICE is detaining people in America. Like, these people having their friends and family ripped away from them, they don't know if they're ever going to see them alive or ever going to see them again at all in any way. So, for all that woman knew her husband was gone, he could probably be locked away forever. He could probably even die in whatever detainment center he's in. So, she probably just sat around obsessing over those kinds of thoughts and about having lost him forever, and then she just entered a fit of rage, if anything, and then decided to hunt down Ben's wife. So it's understandable where she's coming from, but still her actions just are going to have much bigger consequences than she thinks, I think, and it's just going to be horrible for everyone who has to pay the price for it. But yeah, that was that. James. So he is not having a good time with the Harrow. I think he entered a mind palace, which I know mainly from Sherlock, and in Sherlock he uses it to solve crimes and shit. So I don't really know how. I mean, well, in this one, it was less of a mind palace, and less of a mind palace I'm actually familiar with, and more of a place for James to revisit his memories. But at first, it was they were kind of jumbled up. So the woman telling him to get out, and the two boys chasing after him, and the funeral scene, like him actually attending the service before it even started, was all kind of mixed up. But then we find out the truth that James actually disappeared before the funeral service because he showed up early, but then the woman kicked him out because it hadn't even started yet. And then he went outside and ran into those bullies who chased him into some kind of basement level, or just like a room with another casket. And then they locked him in there. And then Kelly looked for him and couldn't find him. And then, you know, he was locked in there until the service was over. So I mean, chances are those bullies knew exactly how long the service was running, and they just kept him out there just so he wouldn't even be able to attend it. And you know, truth be told, I've held a strong hatred for bullies my entire life. So if anything, that whole scene made me angrier, and I really wish I hadn't torn apart my stress ball 3 years ago. But hey, what are you gonna do? But in order to cope with the brutal reality of that event, he made up an event that he even told himself so many times that he just went, like, he was across the street in a diner and he got locked in the bathroom, and by the time the manager had let him out, or even heard him to let him out, the service was already over. So that was the story he told himself, and that he told everyone else, especially Kelly, in order to cope with it. So him being shot and his stuff with the Lex Luthor is not the only PTSD or even the only traumatic event he's actually faced, and he's faced a lot growing up. But I think an earlier thing would be when I think he said he was at a hotel with his family, but then he was playing hide and seek with his siblings, but then he got lost, and then one of the hotel managers or one of the security guards saw him and thought that he was a trespasser or something, or that thought because he was black, thought that he was doing something wrong there. So they detained him and had him handcuffed, and then his mother had to come along and save him. So you know, he's been facing racial discrimination pretty much from a young age. But this one, I mean, I think it was just bullies, just picking on him, just kind of keeping him back and holding him back and making him suffer because they enjoyed it. But it did definitely affect him, especially extremely negatively, and even affected Kelly as well. Because the way Kelly said it is even more horrifying. I think equally as horrifying, because she was 8 years old. She lost her father. Her mother was barely keeping it together. And you know, and James had promised her that, you know, everything would be okay and that he'd be there for her, but it was just her. It was just Kelly all alone at the age of 8 years old, sobbing her heart out because she lost her father. And she had no one there to actually make sure she was okay, no one there to make sure that she was safe, or that she had a shoulder to cry on. The one person who was meant to be was being held back by bullies. So yeah, that one was very much a tough scene to watch as well, and again, just a really impactful scene that just showed James pushing those bullies out of his mind and saving himself. I think that was one of the strongest scenes of like that whole kind of plot line. The fact that, you know, James, you know, like took it upon himself to save himself from that memory and to actually break through, to break through the fear that was spawned from that memory, and to break through the trauma that he had to face of being held back and, you know, being made to suffer in light of what he'd already lost. And, you know, Kelly jumping into his mind to help him do just that, and to actually help him save himself, and, you know, fixing up his trauma again. I think the Hero Now, I think that worked in a really interesting way too, because, like, you know, like with Lena's intention, it was only there to attack physical illnesses, but with her wanting to be able to cure everything, I guess, like me myself, I think I stupidly didn't take mental illness into consideration when she said that, like it was meant to cure everything. But I mean, the research I've done, like stuff like trauma and depression and anxiety, like mental illnesses, like from what I've read into, like there is no definitive cure. Like there are ways to ease the symptoms, there's ways to treat it, but there's no like once that kind of thing, you know, like builds up, there is no like surefire or correct way to effectively remove it. And I think even in this, I don't think I don't really think I don't think any of his traumas have actually been removed by the Harrenhal, but it like him entering the Mind Palace just helped him actually fight through it and to not make that memory as painful or as stressful anymore. So that's what that enabled it to do, and now he doesn't have any traumas as strong as that the Harrenhal will try and attack and cause a trigger again. So it's a way of relieving and easing the symptoms, but it's still there. And now he knows the truth, and he can accept the truth behind it because he's fought through it. But it's always going to be there. He's always going to remember it. But now he's strong enough to fight back against it. So that was also really cool to see, and I think it's also just kind of showing more it's shining more of a light onto coping mechanisms when it comes to mental illness, mental health as well. Like when people have such traumatic memories that they don't want to accept the reality of it, they either lie to them and tell themselves it didn't happen, or they try and make up stories that are more believable and more not more believable but more easy to actually handle. So with James, it was the fact that he was just stuck in a restaurant bathroom trying to get out, but then by the time he did, it was too late. And instead of actually instead of having to accept the harsh reality that a pair of bullies actually kept him locked away when someone else needed him most. And I think coping mechanisms, I think that is a common one I've actually heard of, like actually making up events to try and ease yourself from the pain of the reality. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a great way to actually shine a light on that kind of stuff, whilst also expanding more on what the Harrenhal can do and what it will do. So the Harrenhal is still within him. He still has that power. He came back to he came back to Catco and broke Ben's hand and crushed his gun and told him to get the fuck out. So that was really, really cool to see as well. James making a return, and now he is stronger than ever. So he does still have the Harrenhal, but then now his triggers are more at ease as well. So he has more control over it. But yeah, that is really, really cool to see. And also, one thing I want to point out, Kara as well. Kara, I think I think it sucks that we had to see her hang up the cape for a while to see her as Kara Danvers, but I think what we haven't been able to see much of is the fact that Kara is still an amazing reporter alongside being Supergirl. Her day job isn't just being Kara Danvers and pretending to be someone else to hide the identity of Supergirl. It's actually doing her job. Like, she has a job, she has a day life, she has other friends and family and other circles and a whole other life to her. And even in this one, it was nice to see, and it was nice to see her putting her journalistic skills to good use. But it also seemed like a way to kind of take light away from her being Supergirl. Like, okay, you can't see her as Supergirl, but let's see her as Kara Danvers for now. Like, I mean, on the one hand, it's like, okay, cool, we can see more of her journalist abilities and skills at play. Like, the other thing we know she's good at. But it's also, in a way, it's also kind of like, you can't see her as Supergirl for now, so let's just settle for Kara Danvers. Let's just settle for the journalist. But she is a great journalist. She is she's done some amazing work for Catco, and Cat trusted her with a lot of stuff. She was an assistant, and then she got promoted up to journalist. She worked her way up that stuff. She didn't do that just by being Kara Danvers. She did that by being good at her job, which is what we want to see more of. That is what being Kara Danvers and having a human name is not what humanizes her. It's actually fitting in with other people and doing her job and learning what it means to be human. That's what humanizes her. So that's what we want to see more of. That's not just something we have to see just because something else isn't available. So I feel like that's kind of like a conflicted. I'm kind of conflicted on that. On the one hand, it's great, we can see her again as Kara Danvers, but on the other hand, it's this might just be retconning her identity as Supergirl. Oh, you can't see her as Supergirl now, so just stick with Kara Danvers for now. Just settle for that. I like seeing her as Kara Danvers. I like seeing her being good at her job. It's not something I just I feel like I'm being forced to watch. But hey, I mean, we still see her do it from time to time, and it's still prevalent here and there. But in this episode, I don't know if it felt different, but the way they used it was still great. Her interviewing Dreamer, her using that opportunity and investigating Lex, and more of Sebastian whatever his last name is, and it turns out to be Kaznia in the end. So like her using all of this to investigate more and more, it's a great way to actually see it happen. So yeah, but that is pretty much all I have from this one. So definitely looking forward to seeing more of my girl Dreamer taking up that hero mantle, maybe even fighting alongside Supergirl a bit more. They're going to be one hell of a tag team combo. Looking forward to seeing more of how James gets on with the Harrow now inside him, and more of how he copes with his triggers now. And Lena as well. I think Lena, that's something I forgot to mention. Lena kind of breaking down in front of Kara, that was hard to watch. Her finally unleashing the truth about having worked with Lex to manufacture a cure for James, like her thinking that simply having worked with Lex makes her a bad person, when in truth we all know that she worked with Lex. She worked with Lex simply because it was what was needed at the time. She did not want to work with him. She had no desire to work with him. I mean, at the same time, she did say, you know, he's her brother, and she doesn't want to see him die. But at the same time, she knows in her heart, she knew all along that chances are he would manipulate her, but because he's her brother, she did it anyway. And again, which goes to prove she did it out of necessity and love, not because she knew it was the right thing to do, or because but also because it would give her an opportunity to save James as well. James was her main kind of focus. Like saving Lex was what was included in this kind of team up package, but saving James was the main focus for her, bringing her friend back. And then this whole betrayal thing just goes tits up. So, you know, it proves that, you know, she's not a bad person because of it. Everyone makes mistakes, and she realized it maybe a little too late, but she's, you know, she still, you know, went out of her way to help someone, even someone who's totally evil. But now she realizes it. She's not stuck under some kind of manipulation that Lex is good deep down, because he's not. He's manipulative. He's a killer. He's evil to his core. And Lena knows that, which is why she's tried as much as possible since the very first episode we met her in to try and distance herself from that side of the Luthor name and try and reinvent it as something good for herself. So seeing her like that just in tears just hurts. It hurts. But again, Katie McGrath is just a definitively good actor. I don't even know if that makes sense, but she's an amazing actor. She's an amazing actor who really pulls off her roles really well. So it's great to see her really pushing down the gravity of the situation as Lena, and actually performing this role to her finest ability. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Katie herself has really kind of personified Lena. I personally can't really imagine anyone else in her shoes. So yeah, it's great to see her like that, but horrible to see her in tears. So no more crying for Lena. No more crying for Lena. No more tears. Only smiles and happy memories with the Super Friends. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this episode. So looking forward to seeing more of Lena and Dreamer and James and Kara and everyone on the show, and hoping to see Jean returning to Earth after his successful mission as well. But yeah, that was Supergirl Season 4, Episode 19, titled American Dreamer, which indeed she is, and also a badass dreamer. But yeah, that is it for this episode, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next for the Super Family. And yeah, that's it. So, I will see you guys next time.